How's it going, everybody? And in today's video, we will be talking about how to be more disciplined and master self-control. Before we get into the video, please consider liking and subscribing, comment down below, as that will help this video reach other people that will benefit from it. Before we delve into the video, I'll talk about two aspects of my life regarding self-improvement. So I remember when I first started doing self-improvement, there was a moment where I told myself that the next day I'm going to wake up super early at 5 a.m. and do something productive, go for a run and spend the entire morning working on my projects. What happened the next day was that I did wake up early at 5 a.m. I did go for that run, but when I got home, instead of working on my projects, I just ended up falling asleep and didn't wake up until 12 or 1 p.m. in the afternoon. And the second thing was kind of more general thing was last year in the summer of 2023, I used to weigh 205 pounds, and it wasn't until later in the year where I took actionable steps and changed up my lifestyle and ended up losing 25 pounds. I now weigh 180 pounds. So what those two things have to do with being more disciplined and mastering self-control is essentially, if you look at the story of me waking up early, that right there is essentially why I failed, was because I wasn't disciplined. I didn't have the necessary, I wasn't actually disciplined enough to fulfill my goal for that day of waking up early, going for the run and being productive. Yeah, I woke up early and went for the run, but it was all in vain just because I fell back asleep. Now, mind you, if I woke up and started working, it would have been okay because I was just starting off. But when I woke up, I was not productive. I just spent the entire day being lazy and not accomplishing anything. So yeah, it was a waste of time. And the second thing of my weight, more so me being at that weight, that was because I had, again, no discipline, but also no self-control. I couldn't control what I was eating, and I could have, but I failed to self-control. I failed at it. So that's the thing you have to understand. I technically could have self-controlled, but because I lacked the discipline and all the other necessary things about self-improvement, I completely failed when it came down to self-control. So those two things are essentially, so those two things will help understand what I'm trying to connect to this video. The disciplinary aspect, the whole disciplinary aspect, let's break that down of me waking up. So I woke up and I went for the run, which is good. I went back home and I fell asleep, because I was exhausted, and I went from going to sleep very late, waking up very late, to just randomly waking up early in the morning. So again, I was bound to fail, but it's because my point is because I lacked the discipline to even get myself to that. What I should have done was go gradually instead of waking up at 5 a.m. If I'm constantly waking up at like 1 p.m., 12 p.m., maybe I could slowly wake up at 11 a.m. or 10 a.m., just slowly and slowly. And instead of going for this crazy run, go for a walk and start implementing little bits of jogging. That way you work towards your goal, but in a more gradual sense, so that you can build what you need to get yourself further. And with the whole weight thing, again, it's all about the principles of self-improvement: willpower, discipline, consistency, and motivation. I lacked all of that, so I had no self-control. And the point of this video is that if you want self-control, you have to build your discipline. If you want discipline, you have to understand this whole regiment of what you gotta do to get yourself there. Discipline Discipline is voluntarily putting yourself through an uncomfortable state. It's voluntarily choosing to fast for 24 hours. It's voluntarily choosing to go to the gym and work your ass off. It's voluntarily forcing yourself to work on something when you're feeling lazy and you just don't want to do anything. And with that comes self-control. Once you have the discipline, you have the ability to have that self-control and make the right decisions. Now, if you look at my weight loss, that essentially is a prime example of discipline along with the other aspects of self-improvement. But because I was building that discipline, I was able to keep going and get myself to my goal. I was able to go from eating junk food every day and being 205 pounds to eating a healthier diet and being more active to weighing 180 pounds. And essentially that's how you build discipline and master self-control. You pick a goal, something good. You gradually start working your way into it. You don't jump into it. You don't jump into it cold turkey. And you work your way to that goal. And then you can apply that to any goal you want to achieve, whether it be weight loss, building a successful business, going weight training, whatever it may be. As long as you apply that principle and mindset, you'll be more disciplined and again master your self-control. And even just to elaborate on self-control, essentially it's to control yourself from falling into the temptations of choosing to do the bad habits. It all goes back to discipline and willpower. If you're disciplined, you'll be able to be strong enough to, again, avoid those temptations, to avoid the junk food or avoid being lazy, because you're building the discipline and willpower and consistency to stay on top of that game and control yourself. Like, I'm 180 pounds now. I hardly ever touch the food that I used to eat when I was 205 pounds because, again, I've put myself through periods of fasting and periods of eating healthier foods that now, if I ever do crave the junk food, I know not to, and I know just to get past it and ignore what my body is asking for me. More so my brain, what my brain is asking for me. Your brain is a very strange thing. It's both good and bad. Another thing to understand is that you don't always listen to your brain, because your brain is the one that your brain is the one that convinces you to do the bad habits. My brain was the one that convinced me to keep eating the junk food and whatnot. Again, it all, not to say that I didn't have the self-control, because again, like I mentioned before, it's all about the principles of self-improvement, but it all stems from these bad habits and the temptation of doing them. It comes from the brain. So, it's good to go against the brain and not give in to what you feel like having, more so doing what's better for you. That's it for this video, and if you made it this far into the video, thank you so much. And again, consider subscribing and liking so that this video can reach others that will benefit from it. And yeah, thank you so much for watching.